Is it possible for a jury to find the CEO murderer not guilty despite overwhelming evidence? If OJ can get off, this guy can probably get off. That's one thing I learned when OJ was found not guilty. Anything is possible. Juries do not have to justify their position. They can bring back guilty verdicts even if they don't think the person was guilty, and innocent verdicts even if they think the person is guilty. Once they deliver their finding, there isn't a second step of where they answering honestly. The one exception would be if it was found that they were unduly influenced by bribes or threats. That might result in a pre-trial. But sure, they are guilty, but I wanted to find them innocent isn't grounds for a retrial. That said, at the jury selectio process, the prosecution is going to be working as hard as possible to find people willing to take the duty seriously. Technically, a jury's job is to evaluate the evidence and determine if the evidence properly supports the argument given by the DA. They aren't not supposed to make judgment on the validity of the law, nor even whether or not the law was broken. The DA is claiming the law was broken, and it is the DA's job to prove their claim beyond a reasonable doubt. The jury is involved in verifying the evidence is and means what the DA claims, and that there are no other reasonable causes which would explain that evidence. That said, the jury doesn't have to provide any reason for their decisions. They just have to all agree on the answer. This can go both ways. Juries can choose to ignore evidence which supports or refutes the DA's claims. They can choose to ignore the judge's order to disregard bad evidence and make a decision, or decide to listen to the charismatic, fast-talking attorney and not a boring, but correct expert. Get him to pretend to try to put on a glove. What overwhelming evidence! All it takes is an inkling of a doubt. Besides, I know Luigi didn't do it. He was with me all day on the 4th, we went fishing at 6 a.m. Why aren't US healthcare members suing the insurance giant for wrongful death and suffering? There ought to be a flood of lawsuits. I think when it comes to health insurance and gun control etc., people have been beaten down so much and so constantly, they've given up the fight. They've been manipulated into defending the very laws that have been enacted against them, and to feel good in just about it to boot. I don't care if you already know the answer and this is just a way to get the word out about jury nullification, but good on you for asking the right questions. This is a conversation worth having. It's possible and highly unlikely. Luigi signed on to be a sacrificial lamb to shine a light on the insurance industry. He'll probably be found guilty. After all, what he did still qualifies as murder, even if it ultimately serves some greater good. I mean, a jury is made of people. People are subject to error. Murder is murder, when if the victim is rich, but a jury often gets it wrong. Jury selection is gonna be a problem, but his best hope as well, all he needs is 1 or 2 sympathetic jurors. The odds they will be able to build a non-biased jury rather slim. The right choice is to either goad him into admitting guilt, or taking a deal. Not so much not guilty as we the people refuse to prosecute jury nullification. Absolutely. However, the defense may not necessarily ask the jury to ignore the evidence directly. Judges try to shut jury nullification down and could try to censure the defense attorney or declare a mistrial. Yes, it's called jury nullification, and thank you for being the 100th person to ask this exact question. Yes, but they want. People can vote however they want, so it is possible. However, there are procedures in place to protect from jurors who may vote based on factors not relevant to the law and evidence presented. While there is a lot of support for Luigi, going through the process of jury selection and sitting in a courtroom can be very sobering. Most people take the responsibility seriously and end up voting based on the letter of the law as they understand it. He can admit to the shooting. Is he guilty of the crimes he has been charged with, though? C. Jury nullification. Entirely possible. I mean, OJ got away with it. As I have read just today, the state attorney is having a hard time already because the jury sympathizes with Luigi. Let's hope they agree to set him free.